anybody who listens back to when you were on episode 70 knows that you were attacked on the subway.
Right.
And which we got into. I mean, like, this guy attempted to kill you.
Yeah.
And luckily, you're good now. We thought you were going to be, like, brain damaged for life,
Yeah.
truthfully. Which I don't know if you're still having issues like that, but
Yeah.
You're able to do this.
I'm here.
So clearly
Right,
you're good.
yeah.
That was prior to the whole thing with Daniel Penny, a
Yes.
fellow Marine of
Yes.
yours, who put someone on the subway in a chokehold. They unfortunately died. I don't think that was his intent, and him being charged with manslaughter. I felt like, is there anyone better to get their take? I know this is an old news story at this point, although we don't know what's going to happen with Daniel Penny's life. Like, I was like, who better to comment on that than Dave, because you actually lived it. So I wanted to hear your take on that as well.
So I recently saw a thing that on social media where somebody said the elites, and you take elite as whatever you want, but like the elite is sort of aiming for this thing called like anarcho-tyranny. Have you guys heard that term? So anarcho-tyranny is a
I wasn't sure if you said narco or anarcho.
Anarcho.
Okay, yeah.
Anarcho-tyranny.
Yeah, sure.
So the idea that law-abiding citizens, we're going to get, hassled for not wearing masks when people protest and riot, and they're fine. That we're going to get arrested for defending ourselves or for defending people around us. But people who are actually committing crimes are going to be released. And it's, this idea that creating this sort of destabilization or allowing this destabilized element of society to run amok so that people are more reliant on Big Brother. I don't know if that's true, but it feels true, right? It feels true that that we see elements in society getting away with more and more, and then we're held more and more accountable for, people losing their jobs because they don't want to get the shot, and then they come back and say, "Oh, sorry about this particular shot, and the people that are dying from it, we're not giving that shot anymore." Like it feels weird. So with like Daniel Penny, the reason I bring that up is because when I was assaulted, I was hit, with this rock in my head numerous times. And unfortunately, I kind of like rebooted and took this guy down and started, after taking him down, started crawling up his body. And when I got to his groin, I reached for my knife because I was going to, create a little bleed situation.
And I should even point out there, are you, because I don't even know, because I remember when they were checking in Penn Station and stuff, were you even legally allowed to have that knife, which probably saved you?
So I didn't have a knife.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember that. Okay.
I didn't have a knife. I went for it because I always had it, but I didn't have it because I had been ticketed for carrying it.
There you go.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't even realize that. Okay. Yeah, if you told us it's been a long time, it's been years. So yeah.
I had been ticketed for carrying it. It wasn't against the law. It was some weird. It was against the law, but it wasn't a law. It was like a community violate. It was some weird thing in Brooklyn. But I was walking down the street and cops pulled me over. And I had to go to court, and fortunately, the judge, I didn't have any offenses, and I had a guard card. I was doing executive protection at the time, so I had a guard card, and I was like, well, I use it in the line of work, and the judge was like, okay, don't get in trouble for 60 days, and no problem. But the thing I do remember is that when she took the knife from me, she kept on trying to open it to show that it was a gravity knife. And it wasn't a gravity knife. because the gravity knife would have been like a felony or something. But she was trying her hardest to get that knife to open without a manual, without any kind of manual thing. So when I went to get my knife, there was no knife. So I ended up like wrestling with this dude, and I kept on like losing consciousness. You know, like I couldn't, you know, like I had a brain bleed at the time. I was in bad shape.
Yeah.
And in the following days, I felt bad that I didn't kill the guy, right? I felt bad that, you know, this guy attacked me, but fortunately, you know, I was in the hospital. I was prepped for brain surgery. Fortunately, I didn't, like, my brain bleed stopped. Like, but I was messed up for a long time. I had to sit in a dark room for almost 2 months because the TBI was so bad. And I kept on thinking that, you know, this guy attacked me, and fortunately it was me, right? Because he was there to kill me. He could have robbed me after the second time he hit me with this rock, right? He came up on me, I didn't know, and he was like, I had multiple skull fractures, multiple orbital fractures, multiple jaw fractures. And I thought, what if it was some guy who had kids and didn't know how to fight? What if it was some elderly woman? What if it was some teenager, right? And I was upset. I was upset with myself that I didn't kill the guy. When I was wrestling with him, that I kept on like losing consciousness and couldn't like really get the upper hand until he kind of ran off. But then I also started thinking, this was, you know, during like the protests and everything else like that.
Yeah, this happened in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also remember thinking that if I'd killed this guy, I'd go to jail. Like, there'd be no question that I would have gone to jail. And especially if I had a knife and stabbed him, right? It had been my word against the media and whatnot. And I feel like in New York in particular, if you are of the mind that you would ever help somebody, you're putting yourself, help somebody during an assault or something like that, or, you know, protect somebody, you're putting yourself on the line. You're putting your freedom on the line. I mean, the court system has showed, like, Benny, like, he was convicted. And it's like, well, what do you do?
Have you kept up with it? Because I mean, the last time we spoke about this was maybe a year and a half ago. So do you know what's going on to Penny?
No, last I heard he was convicted. I don't know what the appeal process or where that is. Yeah. Do you know?
You're going to find less and less good Samaritans is what you're going to,
well,
is what you're finding is at least in New York or the city. I would assume, I said this to Ian after this happened. I go, I know in the past I would probably go help somebody, and now I'd have to think twice about it.
You do
not to say that I wouldn't. I probably still would, but that shouldn't be that way, man.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. That's just completely jacked up, completely wrong. And the politicians that have put that, whatever it is, law and order, and put Penny in prison.
Well, is he in prison? Is he?
Or
is
whatever,
he in prison?
you know,
I just don't know. I don't know if,
Well, and what's crazy...
I found something as of January 19th, 2024. The judge denies motion to dismiss charges.
Okay. Would that mean he's in prison, though, or...?
That's a good question.
I don't know if he's in jail right now waiting trial. I thought he was convicted, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting, too, that... when you look at New York of the 80s compared to New York now, New York of the 80s, you had Bernie Getz. You guys remember him?
Yeah. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I was born in '86, but yeah,
So
he was stabbing people. Well, he saved someone on the subway, right?
I think he was just threatened and shot somebody.
Is that Son of Sam?
No.
Wait, who is Son of Sam?
No.
I know it's Bernard Getz, but yeah.
Bernard Getz was Son of Sam?
No, no.
No, Bernie Getz shot somebody on a subway in self-defense.
That's right.
And
I remember.
I believe he was carrying illegally, and was not. What was like? I think he was charged but acquitted by a jury.
Acquitted. That's right. Yep, I remember.
And now you have it so that if somebody, not even carrying an illegal gun, but somebody who these people are saying, I felt threatened, I was threatened, and he tries to calm the situation down, and then it goes to the ground, and then whatever. The guy gets convicted, and maybe he hasn't been convicted yet. I don't know.
He's going to trial. I just looked it up. October 2024.
Okay.
Okay. Well, to the audience, truly, I would say definitely pray for this guy. I by no means do I think he did anything wrong. I thought the media coverage was atrocious. Some of the media coverage was just, they focused on the fact that this guy that he unfortunately killed, I don't think that was his intent once again, was a Michael Jackson impersonator, right? And they were just saying like, oh, this guy, he just liked to entertain people. That's not what he was doing at that moment. He wasn't entertaining people as Michael Jackson.
And he had a criminal. Didn't he have a criminal record? He had a record
yeah.
of him,
Yes.
Yeah, and he had severe mental issues.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible, man. And for those that haven't been on the ground in a fighting situation, when you go to the ground, it doesn't matter how good you are. It gets a little hairy there. You're on the ground, and there's something in you that says, holy shit, I've got to end this now, or I got to get up.
Yeah.
And if you have that skill set, you've got the position to choke somebody, you're going to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, they're going to get the advantage. And if you've never, and I've been in a fight where a guy got me on the ground and he had the advantage, and it's like, holy shit, I am dead.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, it was a fight. It was a fight, and he just ended up beating the shit out of me because he had the advantage.
Yeah.
But I hate these politicians, these judges that judge and think, well, he should have only carried it this far. He should only. Not one of them has ever been in a fight, let alone a fight in high school, a bar fight, been on the ground before, or even in training where when you're on the ground, you're at that animalistic mind state that I got to get up, or I'm going to get my ass handed to me, or worse yet, I don't know what does this person have? They have a knife.
Yeah, if they have a knife, you're in a lot of trouble. You're
in trouble, even if you got them on the back. And that's what pisses me off with a lot of these smart kids out there that think they know everything, and you can just shoot the guy in the arm and it's going to be done. You've never been in, you have no idea, and you have no idea the feelings that can happen, and you have no idea what you have to do to remedy this situation. And I think, Penny did just what he should have, and he did it to a forced escalation. He didn't go right to kill the guy. He got him down, and I don't know if this guy's going to pull a knife out of his pocket and just do this.
Yeah.
Start stabbing behind me.
Yeah.
I got to take this guy before he gets me, and not even kill him. But and then he was he on? I'm going down a rabbit hole now. Was he on drugs? Did he have a heart condition already? I know he was probably not the most healthiest individual, but
yeah, I don't know all the details. It's interesting because there's this real attempt in New York, I think, to say that crime isn't on the rise because, New York, along with a number of other big cities, stopped giving their crime data to the FBI like 4 years ago.
Thanks for checking out Battle Line Podcast. This is just a smaller clip from our latest episode, which you can check out in its entirety by clicking here. While you're watching, be sure to hit the subscribe button and thumbs up the video to show your support. Now, if you'd really like to help us out, click the thanks button below to make a donation. It goes directly to us in keeping Battle Line Podcast going for you.